Well, healthcare reform is a law, but the legal fight is just beginning. More than a dozen states have filed lawsuits claiming the overhaul is unconstitutional. Well, attorney Thomas Glasgow joins us now to explain the lawsuits and what could happen next. Good morning. Always good to see you.
Good morning.
Straightening these things out for us. Now, the lawsuits basically say that it's really unconstitutional. The Constitution does not give the federal government the authority to force people to buy.
That's correct.
Is that true?
In essence, that's what the lawsuit is saying. They're saying that the 10th Amendment to the Constitution, which, to paraphrase, says that any powers not given to the federal government are reserved to the states and the people, does not permit the federal government to force somebody to buy or purchase a consumer good. In this case, insurance. If you own a car, the state can force you to buy car insurance, but they can't force you to buy car insurance if you don't have a car. In this situation, because you're a person, they're asking you or telling you that you have to buy insurance, and if you don't, then you're going to get penalized and you're going to be fined. So this is the first time that the federal government, through its Commerce Clause power, has forced someone to purchase a consumer good. That's the essence of their argument.
Well, see, that's different. I'm glad you explained that, because I didn't know the difference between this and auto insurance. You have to buy auto insurance. Do you think these will stand up in court?
But you have a choice not to take public transportation and not have a car.
Okay.
Do I think that it will hold up in court? The Commerce Clause is the most litigated clause in the Constitution, and that Commerce Clause allows Congress to basically regulate interstate commerce or anything that affects interstate commerce. Mm-hmm. However, this is one area that it may not hold up, and the reason being is that the last time that the Commerce Clause was curtailed by the 10th Amendment, states' rights, was in a case very similar to this in Pennsylvania or in New York, where it was basically waste. If you take ownership or you're penalized for not getting that waste out of there, then that was exceeding the Commerce Clause. That's the only time that has happened since roughly the New Deal era.
Well, supporters, can they argue that it's the equivalent of a tax?
They could argue that it's a tax. However, because of the penalizing factor, that's really what brings this lawsuit to light, and that's what causes the issue of states' rights to kick in. Additionally, they're saying that the federal government is making or mandating us to have all these extra programs, to fund Medicaid, to in essence make what has been a local thing, healthcare, into a national thing, which is beyond the scope of the federal government, is what they're saying in the lawsuit.
Do you think this will go like the Supreme Court?
It probably will go to the Supreme Court. We're probably looking at a year before there's a decision in the district court, and we're probably looking at roughly about 3 years on a fast track to get to the Supreme Court.
One thing we got a few seconds left, but I interrupted you. You were explaining the difference between auto insurance, when you have to buy it, and this insurance.
Well, you have a choice. I mean, not to buy a car. The government is not mandating that you go out and buy a GM car or mandating that you go out and buy a GM car. The distinction here, as made by these arguments and these attorneys general, is that because you're in being, because you are a person, you are being required to purchase insurance as a condition of citizenship. And since you're being required to do that, if you don't, you're penalized. This is the first time that they're saying that the Commerce Clause has taken this extreme action and the federal government has essentially overstepped its bounds. That's the argument.
Man, we're getting some lessons in constitutional law. Thank you, Thomas.
Well, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to see you.
You're so good at explaining this stuff to us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Let's now check in with Tracy at the Weather Center. Good.